Hello beautiful friends and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to travel alone with your kids. I'm traveling with my 3 daughters to San Francisco and we are going for 2 days and 1 night. So not a very long trip, but there's still lots of planning that goes into it. I know that it could get stressful and overwhelming, but I just want to tell you and encourage you that you can do it. It's important to give your kids the gift of togetherness, not just the day-to-day tasks, but be fun, have time for bonding, building a friendship, and just having a good time. Laughing and creating that trust and safe space for them to feel comfortable to come to you with anything. Before I get into the tips, I just wanted to say this. Kids should be a part of the process, not just there for the ride. At first, I know it might be hard and stressful to teach them to do all of these things and be a part of the process, but it really teaches them self-confidence to be responsible. It teaches them skills like being organized and making decisions and looking after their things. And when they see you solving problems with travel, they will develop more patience and problem-solving skills themselves by just learning from you. By teaching them to do these things for themselves, you are taking a huge load off of yourself. And the more comfortable and confident they are at doing these tasks, the less you have to help them in the long run. And in the beginning, believe me, you might even have mom guilt, like they're still little, I should be doing this for them, but no, they're never too little to learn how to do these tasks. And you should just say no to these thoughts and really move on. My first tip for you is sit everyone down to talk. You have to have open communication with your kids for them to know what the expectations are of them on this trip. I always tell my kids, this is your vacation as much as it is my vacation. I want to be able to enjoy this time as much as you do. I don't want to be a referee on this trip and spend my time, energy, and peace on your guys' shenanigans. This is not what we are here to do. Please be extra mindful of what you say and the things that you do. Don't try to annoy anyone and just keep the peace. I always say choose peace. Do not choose violence. Do not choose to annoy someone. Choose peace. And throughout the trip, you can have gentle reminders like, what did we talk about before going on this trip? Are you choosing peace right now? Or we will talk about this when we get back to the hotel. Or we will talk about this at mealtime, when you're not in the heat of the moment. And I feel like that helps so much. Children have to take responsibility for their actions. They have to know that, hey, we talked about this already. My mom is giving me a reminder right now. I need to live up to these expectations. Of course, it varies with your children's age, but this is a good start. Now, this brings me to tip number 2, which is adjust your expectation. It kind of plays off of tip number 1, but this one is more for you. Adjust your expectation because oftentimes we as parents go into this thinking, I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to really enjoy this vacation. But really, you are the one that is in charge of everything, of everyone. So everything, all the pressure is on you. So you just need to understand that there will be things that will go wrong, whether we like it or not. So just accept that and prepare for it. Know that there are things that are going to go wrong. Maybe nap time for kids that are younger. They're tired, they're cranky, they're hungry or hangry. You know what I mean? Maybe it's your older kids and someone starts their period and they have cramps and they're moody or emotional, there are things that can go wrong. And that's just speaking about kids. How about places that we go? There's no parking, or there's a long line. There are things that are not going to play out perfectly as we want it to, and that's okay. That's a given. But just mentally prepare yourself. And also, you can prepare your children. You can let them know, have a conversation with them, and tell them, hey, things don't always go as we plan. And that's okay. Just make sure that you are trying to be on your best behavior when those things do go wrong, because you will be caught off guard sometimes, and that's okay. But just try your best to think positive and hope for the best. Tip number 3 is packing properly. Now, I'm going to break up this category into 2, packing your clothes and then packing food. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it starts the week of. If you're leaving on the weekend, you start on Monday. Clean everybody's clothes, put everything in the wash, dry. Make sure that you have everything. If you need to go to the store for something that you don't have at home, make sure you are doing that days ahead. Do not leave everything for the last minute, because you are going to exhaust and overwhelm yourself before the trip, and nobody needs that. So my first thing is get your kids involved. Allow them to pack their clothes. Teach them how to pack their clothes. It is so important for them to know how to do these things as life lessons, but also it is going to take so much off of your plate. If they start doing this young and they know how to do this, you will be so happy, because it builds confidence. It helps you to focus on other things. Of course, if they pack on their own, you might need to double check and make sure they have everything, but that is okay. They will learn as they go. And one tip I have for you, if you have younger children, is let them know, write down a checklist. Let's say you can write down they need 3 pairs of shorts, 2 pants, 5 pairs of socks, a swimsuit, and they can pack these things and check it off of their list. That will build so much confidence. It's amazing to see kids feel like they are accomplished, and it might seem something very small, but it makes a world of a difference of how much that is going to help you. Also, pack the car the night before. Everything that you need, whether you need camping chairs or a blanket to go along with the trip, some stuffed animals. Pack everything the night before so you're not struggling to get out of the house, because we all know how difficult that is. Mamas, do not forget to pack an emergency kit. You need those Band-Aids, medication for each age group. If you have daughters, make sure you have pads or tampons. Anything else you can think of, put it in this emergency kit so you have that to grab when you need it. Every kid needs to pack a little bag of things to do when they're driving in the car or when we're back in the hotel. You saw my little one was crocheting. My middle one had a camera that we thrifted, so she was really busy and figuring things out. Maybe a book that you want to read, or a notebook that you can color in, or they can write while they're driving things that they see. They can play games. The possibilities are endless, but they also need things to do and entertain themselves, because we don't need to entertain them every second of every day. Now, this brings me to the second portion, which is food. Everybody is hungry all the time, especially these teenagers. So make sure you have a list of their favorite snacks. Purchase that beforehand so you have it on the go. And I always do something fresh, which is like fruits or vegetables, something sweet, maybe like candy, and something salty, which is like nuts, beef jerky, or some chips. Pack the car properly. Make sure that the inside of the car isn't overstuffed and it feels claustrophobic for the kids. So put as much things as you can into the back and only food and snacks in the front. Fourth tip is simple but important. What does everyone want to do on this trip? It is important to include your kids in this process, because it's important for them to feel like they're a part of the fun, not only the hard work like packing. I chose Battery Spencer Trails to do the lock activity. Ella chose skating with the famous skater Aaron Cairo and filming the video. Evelina wanted to go thrifting, and Eliana wanted to do the bonfire on the beach. Tip number 5 is have a game plan. You don't want to be driving from one side of town to another. You have to plan things by location. So Ella's choice was first because it was in Oakland before we get into San Francisco. So we did that first. Second activity was my choice because it is right before you get onto Golden Gate Bridge going into the city. Since we were only staying one night, we knew that we had to do the bonfire that night. The next morning, we did all of our thrifting. We were also able to visit the Ghirardelli Square, Miss Doubtfire's house, Land's End Lookout, and the skate park under the bridge. I hope that this video inspired you to take your kids on a trip, and let me know in the comments which tip was helpful for you and where would you like to visit next. And remember, live life beautifully today.